Okay, so now we're going to move into our regular practice. We will start out with a little bit of alignment. So standing at the top of your mat. I want you to pay attention to how you're moving through your practice tonight. We're again dealing with really hot temperatures. So you're going to move through your practice with ease. I don't want you straining. I don't want you intensifying. I want you to diffuse the day, diffuse pressure in the body. And we do that by having the intention of not only moving with ease, but also creating that within our body. So the hands then come to your heart. Close your eyes. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Feel a sense of ease moving into the body through the breath. So you let that breath settle. And then releasing your hands on your exhale, then inhale, lifting up through the arms. Keep drawing your navel in and then take a moment here. We're going to activate into our feet. Press into your feet, lift your arches, press into the pads of the feet, spread your toes. Get your big toe down, your baby toe down. See if you can get your 3 middle toes to lift. And that's adding a flex and a point into the feet at the same time. Keep reaching and stretching upward. And at the same time, you're activating your feet into the ground. And then release down into a forward fold. Keep your feet strong. Inhale, lift and extend. And then step back in down dog. Walk out your feet. So we bring some movement into the ankles. And we're doing a practice tonight that helps us work through stretching and strengthening the feet. And then draw both heels down, draw the navel in, get hollow in your belly. Open up your armpits. Relax your head. Bring in a sense of ease in how you hold your pose and how you move through the pose, how you add breath to the pose. And then pick up your right leg and we're going to step forward to drop the back knee. Inhale, come up. And then exhale, rotating to the side. So you turn and rotate. So right leg comes up and then you rotate. Draw the navel in and see if you can rotate a little bit deeper. Good. And then from there, you're going to release and sit back. So we're moving through our first foot strengthening. You actually sit back. Now you can add a block. If you're not needing the block, then you literally sit on that left heel and reach forward for the right foot. Strengthening those feet. And then come forward. And as you shift forward, keep the hips going. Shift all the way forward. And now opening up the hip. Then to strengthen the top of your foot, let me move this block. To strengthen the top of your foot, you get both hands on the ground. Now, if you don't have the flexibility to do that, you can use 2 blocks. So your blocks go on either side of your foot on the front, and then lift your back knee up. So now you're on the top of your foot, strengthening the top of the foot. Nice. Draw the navel in and look up. And then from there, release and stepping back into down dog. We are going to shift into a plank, modify to the knees and lower. Lift up Bhujanasana. And then press back. Adho Mukha Savasana, down dog. Again, draw your heels down, get hollow in your belly, open up your armpits. Ease. Each breath is bringing in ease. And then picking up the left leg and stepping the left leg forward, drop the back knee. Inhale, come up. Good. And then exhale, rotate. Good. So same thing. Now you're rotating to the left. I want you to curl your toes under behind you. So you're looking, see if you can draw the navel in deeper, get more hollow in your belly, and then look even deeper over that left shoulder. Good, and then from there, you're gonna release. And now you shift to your back leg. So your toes are curled under and you shift back. Now, again, you can use a block. Sit on a block if you need to, right? Or if you are able to, you sit on that right heel. So this strengthens the foot. The toes are curled under, navel is in, and then see if you can reach for that left foot. And then shifting forward from there, we come up, and again, we have hands on either side of the front foot, and we shift our weight forward. So first, we're just going to stretch through the hip. So your hands can be on the ground, you guys, that's fine. So stretch through the hip. And because we want to also strengthen and stretch the top of the foot, keeping the foot flat, we then lift the back leg up. Now I just added blocks to my hands to make it a little bit easier to pop up. You can also do this from the ground, and your back knee lifts. Back knee lifts, navel in, back knee lifts. So it's stretching and strengthening the top of the foot. Awesome. And then release and step back into down dog. And then again, we shift forward, lower, then lift up Bhujanasana. Press back, Adho Mukha Savasana, down dog. Holding it there. Good, and then picking up your right leg, we're gonna actually step forward for warrior two, coming up and reaching, drawing the navel in, and the tailbone is neutral. So you do want to bring awareness into strengthening those feet by pressing into the pads of the foot, lifting your arches, spread your toes. Get your foundation strong and steady. Strengthen those feet. And then from there, lowering into Parsvottanasana. I'm doing modified version, but you can take the hand to the ground or onto a block. I'm still modifying for my hamstring. Then swinging that left arm around. Good, we're going into that high lunge. So we start out with just the torso down. See if you can lower onto your elbows, and you might need a block for that. Lower onto the elbows. You're staying in the high lunge though. Keep the back knee lifted. And then we lift back up. Okay, we lift back up. Now you're going to take the left hand right next to the right foot. You might need a block. And we rotate. You're still in a high lunge. Strong in your feet. And then see if you can lower now onto that left forearm and reach. Okay, so you're on the left forearm, reaching. Good, and then release from there. Drop the back knee. Drop the back knee. We're shifting back again. Shift back. Sitting on the left foot. So you shift back, you sit on the foot, use a block if you need to. And then reach up, the hands go up. This time you're going to interlace your fingers behind you. And then drop forward. Okay. So you interlace those fingers behind you. You're either using a block or you're not using a block. Good, then release and we go forward again. Flatten out into a half lunge. Hands on either side of the foot or using a block. And then lift onto the top of the foot. Lift. So you're on the top of the foot, strengthening now the top of the foot, stretching it as well. Good, we're adding on here. So now the foot is flat. The foot is flat, we shift our weight back and we take our hips to the right side of that left foot. You may need a blanket or a block, no problem. And then we go back. Okay. You go back. If you can go onto the elbows, then I want you. Go forward and all the way forward, step back, down dog. And shifting forward into plank. Modify to the knees if you need to, otherwise lower. And lift up Bhujanasana. And press back into down dog. Good, get hollow in your belly, open up your armpits, so open them up. Picking up the left leg and stepping the left leg forward. Again, we go into warrior two. So we want to be nice and strong, nice and steady, and you activate your feet. So you press into the pads of the feet, spread your toes, lift your arches, 3 middle toes lift, baby toe, big toe are pressing actively into the ground. Look down that middle left finger, navel in, tailbone neutral. And then lowering and reach. You can take your hand to a block or to the floor. That's totally up to you. And then swinging that right arm around, we go into a high lunge and we hold. Hands are on the inside of the leg. Hold it. Hands are on the inside of the top leg. And then lower onto the forearms, and you can use a block here if you need to. Lower onto the forearms. Keep that back knee lifted. Good. Then come back up. Now your right hand goes next to that left foot and you're going to rotate the torso towards the front leg, reach. So now you rotate. See if you can then lower onto your elbow, and you can, of course, use a block here. Back leg is lifted and strong. Good, and then we lower the back knee, and we are shifting our weight back again. So you're sitting on your heel, or you can use a block. Interlace your fingers behind you. And again, draw your navel in and lower the torso down towards that knee, the extended leg knee. Good, and then release, and we shift our weight forward again, flatten out the foot. Hands are on either side of your top foot. You can use a block on either side. Good, flatten out that extended leg foot, and then lift onto the top of the foot. So the knee lifts. Stretching the top of the foot, strengthening the top of the foot. Good, and then from there we lower and we're shifting all the way back again. But remember what we're doing this time. You shift and your hips go to the inside of that right foot. And if you find yourself teetering to one side, then grab a blanket or a blanket, place it underneath. Okay? All right. And then we go back onto the elbows. Staying up because you're on a block, that's fine. You're just going to reach back a little further. And then making sure that the top of the foot is still on that mat. And then you lift the knee. So that right knee lifts it up. Release and go forward, all the way forward. And again, step back, down dog. Draw your navel in. Shift forward plank and lower. Lift up Bhujanasana. And then take it back into child's pose. So big toes together, open up your knees and release back. Child's pose is a completely relaxed position. Completely relaxed. Nice. So let your arms rest at your side. They do not need to be out in front. Sometimes in the front is not as relaxing. All right, and then we're going to go from child's pose. Bring the knees together. Curl the toes under behind you. And now we sit up. Good. So if you start getting fatigued, you're going to lean forward. But I want you to stay here as long as you can as you pull that right arm across the body. Keep the shoulder down. Stretching the shoulder. Draw the navel in. And then release. And then take that same hand to the center of the spine, right at the neck, and then push. The other hand comes up and assists, and you want to keep the head lifting up. And then doing the other arm. Now, if you're getting fatigued, just come forward a little bit, flatten out your feet. You can flatten out your feet, shake them out, and then come back. And now your other arm comes across, left arm. Navel in. And then that same hand comes up to the center of the spine. Press. Good, and then release out of there. Shaking it out, we're going to come back into down dog. Good, which actually should feel pretty good. Walk out your heels. Draw both heels down. Look up at your hands and step your right leg forward. You might need a block. We're going to go into Trikonasana. You want to line up the front heel with the arch of the back foot and then open up. Keep the torso lined up with the front leg, turn your head. Draw your navel in. Good, and then from Trikonasana, we're going to actually lift up. Now, if you want to use your block, you're going to take it with you. Turn your feet parallel. Left hand goes to the sacrum. Right hand reaches. If you're using a block, you're going to take it with you, keeping the hips level and square. You now take the right hand to the left foot. Then pull the torso through and then open up. Good, and then from there, we're going to release out of it, lifting up with both arms. 2 fingers are going to drop back down. So you hinge at the hip, drop back down, and then the 2 fingers wrap around the big toes. They go under and then connect to the thumb. Good, and then from there, rotating forward. Step back, down dog. If you want to do Chaturanga Dandasana, you can, or you can hold it here in down dog, Adho Mukha Savasana, or you can shift forward into plank and lower, lift. Good. And now we're picking up the left leg and stepping the left leg forward. We're going to go back into Trikonasana. So if you're using a block, it goes on the baby toe side, so does your hand. And then open up. Both legs straight. You're lining up the front heel with the arch of the back foot. Navel in, turn your head. Good, and then from there, you're gonna take your block with you if you're using it. Lift up again, and we turn our feet parallel, wide-legged. Right hand to the sacrum, left hand reaches up. And then pull it in and take it across. Pull the chest through and then open up. So this block is going to be right next to that right foot, or you can grab the foot. It's up to you. Pull the chest through. Keep the hips level as much as you can. Good, and then from there, we lift up. So you come up. This time we're gonna take our hands behind us. So you drop your thumbs down, internally rotate the arms, come back, interlace your fingers and lift. So that means that you're gonna open up the chest, open the chest, then drop down. Okay, open up the chest, wide-legged, you're wide-legged. Oops. Wide-legged. Good, and then from there, releasing your hands down, and we rotate now towards that left foot. Rotate. And then step back into down dog. Again, you can take Chaturanga Dandasana, so shifting into plank, lowering, or you can hold down dog. Lift. Good, and now we keep the knees together. And sit back. If you're able to sit in between your ankles, then you're going to do that. That means you have the flexibility in the knees. Sit up tall. If you don't have that kind of flexibility, you can either use a blanket or a block. If you're going to use a blanket, I want you to roll it up. Okay. And it goes underneath. Right on the edge. You're going to sit right on the edge. So it's lengthening out here. And you're sitting. So again, we're going to stretch the top of the feet. Okay, just sitting here in this position stretches the top of the feet. But if you can go further back, then that's going to give you even more of a stretch. Now, to make it even better, see if you can push your block or your blanket back, get both sit bones down on the ground, and now go back so that you're resting your torso onto your block or your blanket. It's really lovely. You do have to have flexibility in the knee. Okay, and also the pelvis. If you don't have it, that's okay. But then what I want you to do is lift your right knee up so that stretches that right foot, top of the foot, and then release it down. And lift your left knee up. So you're just alternating, lifting up and down, and then lift your right knee up. And release down, and left knee up. And release down. Good. So you have to alternate, you can't do both at the same time. If you're able to go completely flat, you can try that as well. And keep alternating, right knee up. And then release down, and left knee up. Now, if you have to really modify this by staying lifted, you can still do it. Right knee, release down, and then left knee. And release down. Good. Now, to come out of it, if you're completely flat on the ground, heel of the hand comes to the heel of the foot, press, lift up. Come all the way up. And again, we curl our toes under. Ha, that feels amazing. Down dog. Okay, so from down dog, walk your feet in. Just walk them in and sit down. Good. Extend your right leg straight out. Right leg straight out. Left leg is going to come up and go over that right leg. Then lift up tall and twist. Of course, if you have limited flexibility in the pelvis, hamstrings and pelvis and low back, you can come up on a blanket. That'll give you a little bit of a lift. That means you'll have more space to rotate. And then from there, release, stack your knees, and then shift forward. You're going to grab that extended leg foot. Drop your head down, toe the knee. If you need a block to support your head, go for it. Okay. And you're holding it. So knees are stacked. Knees are stacked, and that foot is flat here on the side. Good, relax your head. All right, and then slowly, slowly coming up, and we're gonna switch sides. Good. Left leg now extends, right leg comes up, and it goes over the left leg. Lift up tall, and then twist. Okay, so I know I'm facing the camera, and the camera rotates me, but this is what you're doing. You're twisting to the right. Okay, so this is if we're all in the same direction. I'm doing the same thing as you guys, it's just the camera reverses me. So it looks like I'm doing opposite, but I'm not. All right, and then release from there. And now again, stacking your knees. So you stack the knees. You push the right knee over so that it stacks right on top of the left. And then reach for that extended leg foot. And again, you can lower the head, use a block. No problem. All the way down. Good, and then from there, slowly lifting. And we're going to come off of our blanket if we're using one and shift onto the back. Find your flat feet and lift up into bridge. Interlace your fingers, walk your shoulders underneath you. Good, and then lowering from there and opening up your arms, lift your legs, take them to the right, look to the left. And then lifting up and taking your knees to the left and looking to the right. And then slowly, slowly coming out of that. And we're going to set ourselves up for Shavasana. So if you have a bolster or a blanket that you can place underneath your knees, go ahead and do that. Hands are going to rest palms up, right next to the hip and upper thigh. Shoulder blades pull underneath you. Cover your eyes with a dark cloth, an eye pillow, or an eye mask. And bring that body into total stillness. Hi, Marty. Okay. And let the breath settle. And then let the mind settle. Relax. Continue to let that body relax. Continue to let it unwind, layer by layer. Good, and then begin to deepen your breath. Bring a little movement into your fingers and your toes. And then very slowly roll to your right side. And we're going to take about 30 seconds here on the right side. So rest there. Holding yourself on the right side, letting that body relax. And again, remembering there's a sense of ease in everything that we're doing in our practice tonight, even when we come out of Shavasana. Good, and then from there, slowly bring yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands together and your thumbs connect to your heart. Close your eyes. And take that ease with you into the evening, into your sleep, so that you awaken in the morning feeling completely refreshed. And have a wonderful evening. Namaste.